Welcome back to the Gamecocks Football Captain's Log. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. And also, as always, I'm joined by the captain of Morris Island Charters, Captain Petey. Captain Petey, how are you doing?
Doing good.
All right. Heading into a home matchup against Texas A&M, 10th-ranked Texas A&M. Had the week off last week, so undefeated last week. How are you feeling heading into this matchup?
Not particularly good, but when do we ever feel good about any matchup?
That's true.
We had a bye week, which has, in my opinion, not been good for us historically, especially this year, coming back after a bye week to play Ole Miss and laid a turd for offensive production.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that is not the case this week. A&M has a good defense. Our offense will have to tolerate a good pass rush. I don't know. Hopefully we put a better performance than we did against Oklahoma. So.
Yeah. The offense, always a concern. I believe they average like a little over 3 sacks a game, which is really good. And our offensive line is not really good at pass blocking in particular. So that's scary. This is weird because I did watch their game against LSU on Saturday. I felt really good about our chances up until they switched quarterbacks and they stuck in Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
And he went and ran for like 3 touchdowns immediately.
So my problem with judging based on what they did against LSU is that LSU is just not a good defensive team. They were bad against us, and I haven't seen them I don't understand why LSU was ranked as high as they were. They've not done anything to prove to me that they should have been number 8 in the country. Maybe it's just a process of elimination that everybody in front of them lost, so they just kept moving up. But I don't think LSU is a top 10 team, maybe not even a top 20 team. But when they went, obviously when LSU ran into a good defense, and then Nussmeier they were up. They were
they were winning
until the second half, and then it seemed like A&M woke up. And also they brought in a new quarterback, and LSU had absolutely no idea what to do with that at that point.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of the new quarterback issue that LSU couldn't handle from A&M had to do with the fact that they had game planned for a pocket passer, and they stick in a kid who can run like Reed ran, and they just weren't prepared for it. Or because Reed hasn't been the starting quarterback, so he didn't beat out Wegman.
There's got to be a reason. Yeah, it's got to be a reason why he wasn't starting quarterback.
Yeah.
But we played Oklahoma, and Hawkins was supposed to be a really good runner. Apparently, and just a terrible decision maker at the same time. But do we have a affirmative answer on who's going to be starting? Is it Reed or Wegman?
I haven't seen anything yet. My gut is telling me it's Reed, but I haven't seen anything like definitive.
I would bet that's Reed, just because if your offense is on a roll, don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
And screw things up. But the thing is, we have a really good defensive line, and if we're just going to be in the backfield the entire game, it won't matter who's at quarterback, other than Reed will have his capability, but our guys are fast up front.
Yeah.
So, what do we? But A&M's has a good offensive line too. So that's probably going to be the worst, the best test that our defensive line is going to have, at this point all year. This game is going to be a toss-up, I think.
Yeah, because Reed came in, he threw 2 passes the whole game.
Really?
So I really can't say. Now, he has thrown the ball over the course of the season, but it's mostly coming in blowouts, I believe. So you can't really say one way or another.
Well, he had 3 games. He started the first 3 games, right? Because Weigman was injured.
That's right. Yes.
And
Yes.
A&M survived on their defense for those first 3 games, except for Notre Dame. They lost to Notre Dame. But
so that's right. Let's go back and look. So, yeah, not a bad passer, honestly, but the games are against Florida, Bowling Green, Arkansas. Like, really hard to say.
and those
I forgot that he did open up the season. Like, really hard to say against those opponents because I really do believe we're better than, and they won all those games, but we're certainly better than Florida, right? Like, we're not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, but and also they lost to Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame went and lost to NIU the next week.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's the beginning of the season back then, so everybody's still finding themselves. But, we're one of those teams that we don't seem to ever find ourselves.
No, it's a constant journey to see. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, so good point there. So we'll see because really, now I think we both are in agreement. We like Mike Elko as a coach, right?
Yes. Yeah, and that's really probably what has started to this upward trajectory because they went under Jimbo, they were just garbage. And now Elko's got in there with all these highly paid recruits that they've got, has started to figure shit out. We're in the second half of the season now, and A&M really is starting to gain momentum, even though they're undefeated in conference play. They haven't played top tier competition yet.
No, not yet.
I don't know that they will until they play Texas.
Despite, we just talked about the rankings. So number 8 LSU, they played Mizzou when they were 9 and blew them out. But we've seen what Mizzou has been doing.
Crap,
The Notre Dame thing. I guess, so my question about Elko is, what is he thinking not going back to Reed sooner? Because I'm looking at, I don't know if he was just waiting for Connor to kind of get back on track, although he's never been a guy that I would ever say is on track. But just night and day in terms of production when I'm looking at what he was doing versus what Reed was doing, and it's against similar competition. I can't believe that it took this long for him to be like, maybe Reed's the guy.
I couldn't tell you.
It's weird.
I mean,
I can see if it were Beamer, I would understand, but Elko, I expect better of you.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that coached at Duke for so long and did well there, and finally, moved up to the big leagues. But I can't imagine. What's really surprised me is it doesn't seem like A&M should be one of those schools that has like a clear-cut quarterback.
Yeah,
and then they don't have one. Apparently.
Yeah, because those fans are insane. Number one, and they donate enough money to get Jimbo Fisher bought out at halftime with a giant publishers clearinghouse check, a novelty check at halftime to buy him out. I mean, why can't they find a quarterback?
They got so much money. Why can't they? I mean, they seem to find money here and there. Well, at any time they want. Why can't they? Why don't they have a guy that is like a Heisman level guy?
Yeah,
like another Manziel.
Yeah, really, really weird. I don't know. And they do have a couple of, like the main running back, Le'Veon Moss. He's really good. Almost, you got 757 yards, 10 touchdowns. Amari Daniels behind him, also good. So I do think our defense, we're going to find out, like, are they for real this week?
Yeah.
But
they're going to have to harass the shit out of their quarterback, whoever it is.
Yeah, we got to make it one-dimensional.
Not give them a chance to throw it. I don't have any faith in our secondary to be able to keep up. Have to cover somebody for 5 seconds. That's just not going to work.
No.
But I mean, the things we got going for us, it's at home, it's at night.
Yes.
At Willy B. So that's not the last time they came in, they lost.
Yep, we were there.
Yeah.
Found the rally snake in the tailgate area.
We'll have to find the rally snake again.
Led us to victory. Xavier Legette opened it up with a 100-yard kickoff return with one shoe on.
That's right. Yep.
So it was pretty good. Wegman made an appearance in that game too. He stunk it up there as well. So he's been around being bad for a long time for A&M. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think A&M is actually the better team here, like legitimately.
Yeah.
And their payroll would suggest that. I mean, they've got a defensive line that's really good. I mean, their defense is really good all around.
Yeah.
They don't blitz as much as we do. And they still get sacks. I think they were like, sixth in the country in sacks or something?
Yeah, it's pretty high. It's top 10 for sure, I think.
Yeah. And without having to do, not having to blitz, that's still impressive.
Yeah.
But again, who they played, it's hard to get a gauge on this team. So they're sitting alone at the top of the standings right now. They're the only conference undefeated team.
Insane. That is insane. That should not be legal.
No.
Like, look, I respect Mike Elko. I hate Texas A&M fans.
Yeah.
But the fact that in a conference with Georgia, Alabama, Texas, A&M is at the top is ridiculous. And
yeah,
I don't
they're not playing. They haven't played Georgia. They haven't played Alabama. They haven't played Tennessee.
How do we get their schedule?
Yeah, I don't know who they're. The only team I know that I think they play. They play Texas.
They close the season with Texas.
Yeah, I think they play Auburn next.
They play New Mexico State, then Auburn. Who made this schedule for them? That might be where they spent their NIL money, was paying off the schedulers. This is insane.
Yeah.
So
Arkansas is a good team, but they're coming up. They're not.
Yeah.
They didn't start out great.
Yeah. Oh man. That is. I'm just stunned. Okay, so it's really up to us Saturday to try to maintain the integrity of the SEC by beating them.
Yes, this is a have to win game.
Yeah,
if we want to get into like a bowl game or a decent bowl game, then we have to win this game.
Yeah, because we need two more.
Yeah.
Vandy did lose, but they still look tough, and that's on the road. Clemson, of course. Mizzou at home, maybe. Wofford should be one. So we could start getting nuts. I might start talking myself into 7 wins here pretty soon.
I mean, I guess it depends on what we look like on Saturday, but we're kind of similarly matched up with them. Like, they're really good defenses, kind of iffy offenses, and they've got more talent than we do on a general basis, but they're still kind of struggling to figure shit out on offense like we are. Is home field advantage mean that much?
We're gonna find out.
Yeah,
because you're right. When I'm looking at the roster, like Lenoris seems like a slightly less talented version of Marcel Reed, maybe a little bit more than slightly.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Lenoris may be a better like a more accurate passer when he's not overthrowing people by 50 yards.
That's true.
But,
we got him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think we're just like
receivers than us.
Yeah. And we'll see again if we're going to use Nick Harbor this week. That's the story of every week. Like, will we see Nick Harbor?
Will we see him, or will we see him running like straight across the field for 3 yards downfield? Like, why are we using the biggest, fastest, tallest guy on the planet not in the end zone?
Yeah.
We should be threatening him, using him as a deep threat on every single play. I don't care if we only have 2 wide receivers out there. Just have him run downfield. I don't care if you block, but we're hitting on same chords we've been hitting on all season. So
So
play that.
it's fun. We will see.
Hit the repeat track on the CD player.
We will see. I think that's about all we can say about this game. So it's time. The spread, according to ESPN, is down to 2.5. A&M is favored by 2.5. What do the Dolphins say about where they are placing their entertainment porpoises?
So the Dolphins were real flippy-floppy this week. They didn't know what to think. They were doing jumps in the air and spinning and doing all kind of stuff you see in the circus. But now that the point spread's gone down to 2.5, the Dolphins are leaning with A&M.
Yeah, like it's generally a good sign. Obviously, you want to be on this side when you're looking at what Vegas is doing. Like, okay, this is giving me confidence in South Carolina. But when you're familiar with South Carolina, it does make it that much scarier.
Yeah, it's hard to have any kind of confidence in this team at any point in time.
Yeah, because we just don't know. There hasn't been any sort of consistent anything that we can point to outside of the pass rush is good.
Yeah, like we've not been dominant in all phases of the game all year.
Yeah, and then if it comes down to a game where it is within a field goal, do you trust Herrera to hit the field goal? Do you trust us to get
Herrera to hit the field goal for one? Also, I don't trust our 2-minute drive play calling ability or decision making ability. Basically, we're going to have to get up by like 15 points and then how to hold on to that lead.
Yeah. Yep. That will certainly be our best bet, kind of like the LSU game. But yeah, we seem to have misjudged his capabilities, Herrera's capabilities, by like 8 yards. And we'll play. Yeah. That's how we call our plays is like, well, we'll get him within 8 yards of where he needs to be, and then we'll pray. Hasn't worked out that well. So
was he a walk-on?
I do not remember.
He's been there for a while, but
yeah,
at one point. But we had Mitch Jeter for a while.
Notre Dame star now.
Yeah. So I can't remember if he was a walk-on or not. He's definitely not a star in the making.
No, not what we're used to in terms of kickers.
Give us Elliott Fry back.
The GOAT.
Weighs 90 pounds, but who knows? He can kick the fucking ball.
That's all we need. So, all right. Well, shit, that will do it. We'll be at the game. If you see us, give us alcohol and food for free.
Yeah.
We'll be there early tailgating, I'm guessing. And, other than that, we'll see you next week.
See you then.